What's up, Bridal Babes? I hope you're ready for another exciting episode of your favorite local wedding show, Bridal Buzz. Today we're in the studio with Alexandra and Alex. They just got married a couple months ago, and they're going to talk all about their love, their engagement, their wedding planning, and the big event. You guys are not going to want to miss out on this one. This is one of the coolest weddings we have covered so far, or at least me in my time here. So before we keep going, let me give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Texas Wedding Ministers. You'll hear more about them as we go, but let's get into it. So thank you guys again so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having us again.
Yeah, Bridal Babes, go back and listen to their engagement story. You can hear all about how they met, their cute proposal. We're going to hear a little bit about that today, but we really want to learn about all of your wedding stuff. So why don't you tell us a little bit about who you guys are and like the beginnings of that relationship.
Yeah. You want to go first?
No, you go, babe.
Okay. He knows I like to talk. So I'm born and raised in San Antonio. I am a realtor. Been a realtor for almost 10 years. And now I'm taking on a new job. I'll be a mom in October.
Congratulations.
We have 5 animals and we have a human on the way. So it's life's been pretty cool since wedding time.
It's an adventure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm originally from Houston, and then came to San Antonio for a job. I'm an orthopedic surgeon, and then we met, and it's been great ever since. And
Yeah.
And now I love San Antonio. I mean, it's a great city, and I really enjoy living here and then practicing in San Antonio.
Yeah, I'm actually also H-Town, born and raised, so I'm gonna hold it down.
Right?
Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about how long were you guys dating before you decided to propose?
I mean, we were dating
Like 2 years.
Yeah, about 2 years.
Yeah.
About
Yeah.
2 years.
Was there a moment where you just were like, this is it? Like, I know she's the one. It's time to start picking
2
out
weeks?
the ring.
I mean, yeah, it was pretty quick.
First date?
I think we kind of both, we kind of knew what we
Yeah.
wanted in life, and so it was pretty quick.
Aww.
Yeah, we knew. And I was like, well, maybe we should move in together first.
Right, yeah.
Before we just go get engaged and freak out our families.
Right.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
But yeah,
We'll wait at the appropriate amount of time.
we did. We did all the important investments, like buying a home
Yeah.
before we planned a crazy wedding, because we knew that the wedding would be crazy and they're expensive. So we invested time and money, and we bought our house
Yeah.
and we got situated, and then we're like, okay, it's time. And I was like, bro, it's time to pop the question. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Can't start planning the wedding until.
Put the pressure on.
I know.
So tell me a little bit about how that proposal happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I had a few scenarios of kind of how I wanted to propose, but, so I got her the ring, and then, it was Christmas Eve, and the whole family was together, and I thought, this is the perfect time, to propose, and then I called, our neighbor across the street helped out too as well, and her little girl, and so.
Yeah.
I asked her dad, before, and he was very excited. We had Christmas dinner or Eve dinner, and then, and then I just kind of popped the question. And,
I don't think my dad realized he was going to do it that night.
yeah, I don't think he did either.
And he was just like, my mom was like, oh my
Yeah,
God, can we do it all over again so I can record it again?
I definitely caught everybody off guard, at least in the family.
I mean, we were cleaning up, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden it just, one thing led to another, and it happened. And then I see my neighbor and her little girl walking in, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on? I'm like, I'm so confused. It was cool.
And so how long after the proposal did it take for you to start planning things for the wedding?
Well, I'm extremely particular, and I'm organized, and I knew that, especially with COVID, being an issue and setting back a lot of other weddings, I got on the process quickly. So my first thing was the church. And then once I got into the church, basically the church would dictate the date of the wedding. They're like, well, what month do you want? I was like, what are my options? And one of them told me, oh, what about New Year's Eve? And I was like, how about not? So we ended up finding our church. The venue came after. And so, we got that done. I didn't waste any time, because it really does take a year. Sometimes I can see even over a year. That, it would have been nice to have those extra few months, but we did it. It was.
And how long did you have to plan?
I was planning until the night before.
I mean, there was a lot of planning going into this
We
wedding,
had
so.
a lot of wonderful help and amazing vendors, and boy, it was a learning experience. But my wedding planner told me, he goes, Alexandra, you hired us for a reason. And I go, yes. He goes, you can relax a little bit. And I said, no, I need to be involved in everything, coordinating. I need to know what's going on, because I planned, it was my ideas and our ideas combined, but I needed somebody to execute them. And he would just sit back and just be like, "Ooh,
I'm like, you don't get it. I'll be more stressed if I'm not."
She's
Oh,
so
yeah.
OCD.
Yeah, for sure.
She likes control over all of it. But yeah, it was. You learn a lot.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about I have one of my bridesmaids that is actually getting married, and so it was helpful to just have gone through it to kind of tell her, like, hey, these are the things you should worry about.
Yeah.
These are the things you shouldn't worry about. Don't freak out about the little
sound
stuff.
advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the little things that you would say, like, you don't need to be freaking out about?
What everyone else thinks.
Yeah.
Because, you're having this big, beautiful party. Of course, you want everyone to have fun. But at the end of the day, you know what? That's your wedding.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opinions and
Yes.
Unsolicited
things.
opinions that like to get thrown out.
Unsolicited,
Yeah.
And especially if you are financing your own wedding,
Right.
it should, regardless of either scenario, but you should make it about you
Yeah.
and your husband, what you guys want. There was even a point where my wedding planner told me I was crazy
Oh my gosh.
for wanting. My wedding
loving
planner is
way.
a good friend of mine, and he would let me, understand, like, hey, like, this is probably more realistic. I was like, no, this is what I want. And then he turned around and looked at me the day of the wedding. He goes, you were right. He's like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, there were a lot of moving parts in this wedding, but
Yeah, like
everything's-
literally, like
yeah, I
living
mean,
It was a
acrobats.
show.
Yeah,
and-
right.
yeah.
But everything came together just fantastically. So.
Oh, it was beautiful. One of my favorite things that I saw from y'all's was coming out from the bottom of the
right,
stage
yeah.
for your entrance. As someone who grew up in theater, I was like, this is the most epic
Yeah.
entrance I've ever seen.
There's
like,
a story behind that.
That was a must, and she told me about it, and I said, I'm definitely on board with that.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
that, so.
we had toured. I actually went to go tour the Tobin without him because he was working, and I said, I'm going to go look at it. I'll let you know. And so I told the coordinators of the Tobin and my wedding planner standing there. This is when he told me I was crazy. I said, is there any way I could like kind of come from the ceiling like Cher does when she gets introduced
That
at her
was the first.
concert? And they all just looked at me. And then one of the guys was like, well, my wedding planner's like, no, she is not hanging from the ceiling. They're like, well, she can't levitate up. And I was like, wait, what? Can we do this?
Yeah.
It was so cool. So Tobin was fantastic.
Yeah,
They let us
they
do
were-
whatever
Yeah,
we
they were
wanted.
very good.
It was awesome.
And didn't you get a custom bridal dress in like a different country? Can you tell me about that?
Yeah. So originally my designer was in Egypt, but that designer wanted me to go and take a trip to Egypt, and which would have been a great experience, but with all the stress and headache of
Everything.
wedding
happened.
planning, once it came down to it, I was like, you know what, this is going to be a little difficult. So I ended up going with somebody, it's actually Spanish from Spain, and custom did my dress, did both of them. It was a little bit of a headache. I didn't try on my dresses until a month before the wedding.
Wow.
About a month or so.
Yeah.
That's some trust.
My reception dress had to be completely remade. My
Oh,
reception dress
wow.
came in a mess.
Yeah.
It was kind of a nightmare. My ceremony dress was perfect. Thank God.
Yeah.
I had to say, okay, well, if I ordered this, had it made overseas, I have to expect can't go as
Right,
planned.
right.
So I ended up finding an amazing seamstress. She had to remake the whole dress.
Wow.
But you know what? It all worked out.
all
I remember
worked out.
crying, like, my dress is
Oh, yeah.
ugly. I hate it.
There's-
It worked out.
Yeah. You're like a month out. You're like, what do
Yeah,
I
right.
do?
The gowns were stunning.
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
Despite the hiccups we had, they were stunning, heavy,
very
heavy. But yeah, it worked out.
Yeah.
So, I'm still obsessed. I don't know what to do with them. I'm just staring at them like they're so beautiful. I don't want to store them.
It's like an art museum in the
It
house.
is,
I know, right?
really.
And what about your outfit? Was there any inspiration behind it? Did she pick it out? Did you pick it out?
No, I picked everything out and I kind of pieced it together. I knew that I wanted a Tom Ford jacket,
Nice.
and I'm not the slimmest person, so fitting into a Tom Ford jacket was a little bit of a challenge, but I did it. So,
You did.
and I kind of pieced the rest of it together. I knew I kind of wanted a vest and a couple different different options, and I got some very nice cufflinks and
Yeah.
and things like that. And so
You guys
I
looked like
pieced it
royalty.
together, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So speaking of, I know you guys both have very specific cultures that you both wanted to bring into this wedding and combine them in a beautiful way. Tell me about that.
So I come from a Hispanic, Middle Eastern descent, and it was really important. Hispanic weddings and Persian weddings, they're intense.
Yeah.
They're big. They're
They're a good time.
fabulous. Yes, and they're fun. And I really wanted to incorporate both cultures. So from, the belly dancers to the camel to the dessert table with Mexican pastries and Persian pastries and Persian ceremony, which nobody expected. It was really important we grasped all of that to honor my dad and my mom and my grandparents, and it was really cool. Everything was really well executed, and I think everyone kind of picked up on that at the wedding. They're like, oh, there's a camel. Oh, okay, well, we get we get the Catholic ceremony, we get this, we get Persian ceremony, so it's very cool.
Were there things that people had like never seen before at a wedding that they were like, oh my gosh, just...
Probably our camel.
Oh yeah, the camel is definitely
well, I see that at every wedding.
Big hit for
Alexandra and Alexandra's wedding, they would have the camel.
Yeah.
And probably the Persian ceremony.
Yeah, the Persian ceremony. Probably the belly dancers. Maybe not everybody has seen this before.
I mean, we had a lot of Middle Eastern people at the wedding, so obviously they've seen it, but some of our other friends have never experienced that kind of ceremony.
Yeah, tell me about some of the Persian ceremony traditions that are not, the same as what we'd see in a typical American wedding.
So they basically have a table, and the table represents, there's eggs, there's fish, there's all kinds of fruits, and everything represents like fertility, money and luck, and they do a prayer over you, and they basically serenade the bride and groom, and it's beautiful. Wow. I mean, it's a huge spread. It's called a sofra, and it's a huge spread. It's stunning.
Yeah, it was very stunning.
They did it all in Farsi, which my Farsi is... But I can understand, I've been around it my whole life. I can understand what's going on, but they were having to nudge us like, okay, this is when you say yes in Farsi. So I was like this, like, hey, this is what you got to do.
I just sat there
and he was nodding.
Yep.
But it was really cool. It's what I always have dreamed of, and I'm so glad that he was on board to go along with it and experience it.
Oh, I love that. Before we keep going, I'm just going to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Bridal Babes. I want you to check out Texas Wedding Ministers if you are looking for someone to help officiate your wedding, whether it be at a venue here in San Antonio or an elopement or somewhere you're just wanting to do a small micro ceremony in the park or on a beach. Texas Wedding Ministers can help you make that happen. They have a team of amazing, unique characters that can help officiate your big day, make it run as smoothly as possible, and give you amazing pieces of advice before you walk off as a married couple. So check out Texas Wedding Ministers today on sanantonioweddings.com, and let's keep going. Before we do, I actually want to give you guys this little gift from Alamo City Popcorn Company.
Awesome.
I think you guys got some last time too, it is just such a hit here in the office. So
I love popcorn.
Yes, I think there's like an extra cheesy and then a kettle corn in there.
Perfect.
So great sweet and salty options. Yeah. So tell me about the day of. What did it feel like to get there?
It was surreal.
Yeah.
The original plan was, at least on my end of it, was for me to start my hair and makeup was like at 7 a.m. And then eventually the Tobin was amazing. They provided hair and makeup rooms for the bridesmaids, my mom and mother-in-law, and I had the hair and makeup team there. And then eventually I was going to walk over and start, finishing touches on me. But then as I was getting closer to having to walk over, I said, you know what? I think I would just want to take this time by myself and just kind of reflect and relax before I join all my crazy bridesmaids, because everything just starts getting a little bit crazier.
Yes.
I ended up ordering room service for my hair and makeup team, and we had champagne. I had probably a sip of champagne because we didn't really drink until the reception.
Just to keep all of the...
Well, the Catholic Church is very, very strict. And also we wanted to make sure everything was, it was a long day, but, so I just took a little bit of time to myself, and then I eventually met up with the girls and my mom and everyone. And it was nice to kind of just chill on my own before the wedding.
That's an awesome piece of advice. I'm like, okay, taking
it
notes
was
for myself.
Good. Yeah. And then he eventually took over the penthouse, and then I went to the Tobin, and then he had his time.
I just kind of, I was supposed to go into the penthouse a couple hours earlier, and she was just hanging out, so I went down
having a good time.
A couple of my groomsmen, we had breakfast down at the restaurant at the Thompson, which was really nice, and we just kind of hung out, and then eventually we went up there, and I had all my groomsmen up there. I bought them all very nice weekender bags as their gifts, so then I gave them all their gifts up in the penthouse. So
nice. And so how long did you guys take to get ready? Were you hanging out for most of the time? Like,
I'd get ready pretty fast. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't need too much. Too much
like, just gotta do a little
Didn't
commentary.
take as much of a team as it did to get me ready for him.
Yeah.
And then, what did it like getting to the ceremony, seeing everybody when you're walking in? Like, tell me about those emotions. What was like going through your head? What were you feeling in your body?
You got there first, so you tell me.
Yeah, I mean,
I was late a little bit.
A little bit late. Yeah.
Fashionably late.
Yeah, so I was up in the front of the church. Unfortunately, there was a protest going on outside, which I didn't really.
Not anticipated. I'm sure.
Definitely not anticipated. So I was also pacing, kind of nervous about that.
Oh my god! You're like, please don't come in here.
Yeah, because it was pretty loud outside. And,
wow.
Yeah, I was pretty worried about it. So.
Oh, you're like, can you guys just take a 30-minute break? Like,
yeah. By the time we drove up, we had a Sprinter van, and it was all my bridesmaids and my mom. By the time we loaded me in the car in the van and unloaded me in the van because I put my dress on prior.
And your train is like 10,
my
10
train
feet long?
was like
20?
12 feet. I don't even know. I can't.
So long.
Could have been longer. No, I'm kidding. I step out and I just look around and I'm just like, is this a joke?
Oh my gosh.
And I just wanted to start to cry.
Yeah. Like,
and I remember there were some protesters standing there and I'm walking in. Of course, they're looking at me and I just looked at them and I said, can you please just let me have this day?
Yeah.
I started to cry. I said, I have been dreaming of this since I was a little girl. Can you just please let me have this moment?
Yeah.
And then there was only about 10 of them. And then I looked to the front of the church and there was like 200. And I said, oh, I'm going to need a microphone. I'm like, this is. So I said, you know what? My wedding planner looked at me. He's like, you're fine. It's fine. They're not going to come in the church. We're actually going to lock the doors. And they weren't going to previously lock the doors, to keep it open because your ceremony is still open to the public. Mm-hmm. But they locked the doors and it was fine. It was fine. Yeah, everything worked out. Yeah. And
what a cool story too. Like, who else gets to say that there was a protest happening outside?
I mean, I'm like, I was like, are they protesting us not to get married? Yeah. Like, what is going on? And then I realized what it was. It's not even.
And you couldn't really hear any of it up
good
where we were at least. So
yeah, walking in was they put on my veil right in the back because that was also very heavy, and it was like one girl, one of my bridesmaids actually got locked out. She couldn't get back in, so she had to sneak in through the side after all the girls already walked down.
Oh my god!
But prior to that, is my dad and I were looking at each other, and I was like, "Okay, Dad, like, don't look me directly in the eye because I am going to cry.
I'm gonna lose it."
And he goes, "He's already losing it." And he goes, "I don't want to step on your dress." I was like, "Don't worry, you're fine." But I couldn't. I remember I was just stare in the middle of his between his eyes, so I wouldn't look him direct because it was just floodgates. Oh. I was like, oh my god, I think I made the silliest faces walking down the aisle trying not to. I'm not a pretty crier.
Just like trying to hold it together.
It was so surreal. It was incredible. It was the most amazing feeling in the world. I was waiting for him to cry, but he really should have, dear.
Well, I mean, I saw her dress for that first time. When she walked in,
hiding that for me was challenging.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
The train.
Wow. You got a little teary-eyed.
Yeah.
I was like, did you expect that kind of dress? And he was just like,
maybe I kind of did.
Yeah. Like, what did you expect to see?
Yeah, I mean, definitely not, not that. I mean,
definitely her. That's.
Well, yeah. I mean,
that's a good start.
Good start.
But yeah, I saw that train that you had. It was just,
magnificent.
Yeah. And it was like over the top, and then I said, "Of course, of course."
It was like luxury.
Kept going and going. Yeah. People were just like on our wedding videos. They're just recording the train, and they're just turning, and they don't stop. It's like they almost get a crack on their neck because it just keeps going.
Oh my! Your train is like as long as most people's bedroom. Like,
actually, fun fact: the San Fernando Cathedral was fantastic to work with. They, the Catholic churches, or especially a cathedral, they're very strict with everything, but they had to remove 2 sets of pews on each side of the church to fit my gown. So my wedding planner had gone in and started telling them, well, her gown, of course it's appropriate for the church, but her gown is very large. And they said, oh, we've had lots of large gowns. And my wedding planner says, no, her gown is long, it's large. So they actually had to remove 2 sets of pews so I could go in.
There. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was pretty cool. I was like, they moved this? And I remember trying to sit down part of the ceremony and like the bench kind of like moved. I was like, oh gosh. I was like, if I fall, this is going to be really bad. So he like grabbed it and I'm just like pretending I'm comfortable and I'm not.
You're like helping her stay balanced.
Oh, yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how quickly did the ceremony go by? Did it feel like it was just like in a blink of an eye?
Well, I've been to several, Catholic ceremonies and they always seem very long.
Yeah.
But yeah, it went very, very fast, at least in my head. I mean,
I try to take in every moment.
Yeah.
So I can't even, like, as far as like time reference, I can't even explain that because you're trying to take in everything and you're praying and you're listening and then you kind of look back and you look at your family and it's just, it goes by fast, but it
seemed like it went by very fast. But...
Watching the video seemed like it was forever.
right.
But actually being in it, I kind of felt bad watching the video. I was like, man, people sit through this. I was like, you know what? They deserve to sit through it. I've sat through so many Catholic weddings.
Yes. Oh, they love you.
Yeah,
it was worth it.
It was beautiful. Yeah. Every moment was gorgeous.
Yeah.
So from there, you guys go and take your pictures with the camels and do all of that. Tell me about some of the other unique things you guys had at your reception.
Well, our reception, so it went in from our pictures and then it was cocktail hour. Cocktail hour we had, which we didn't attend. Did you attend? No, you did not, right? I'm forgetting things already. We had a 360 camera, so kind of like what they have at the Oscars. It's, but I think they have something cooler at the Oscars now, but it kind of goes around. So everybody had a blast with that.
Yeah.
Of course, open bar. We had hors d'oeuvres. I had seen some inspiration photo on social media one day, and it was for a seating arrangement, and it was all acrylic. My wedding was full of acrylic, everything. And there were boxes with inscripted names, table numbers, and then the names. And they were stacked up with lights kind of shining through and had flowers all around it. I had used somebody to do the acrylics, and then my wedding planner was like, this is the coolest idea. So it took us a while to get the sample boxes and kind of figure out what it was going to look like. But I mean, when we saw the videos, it was an incredible just setup, and people actually enjoyed going to and it was, you could see it. It was clear. The lighting was perfect. But yeah, I mean, when you first walked in, everything was just all white, everything.
And they had our logo kind of
outside the.
Yeah, they had it on that marquee, of the Tobin, and they had it.
Wow.
Also, in the cocktail hour, and I guess the videographer was going around too, and kind of doing those candid those little video snippets of people, wishing us congratulations. And I had no idea until we actually watched the video the other day. Yeah, and it was very nice. But that whole time the cocktail hour was going on, we were actually down below trying to get the situated with the lift.
Oh yeah,
the lift.
we were doing
the lift because there's a lot of safety things.
You're with the tech crew.
Yeah, we had to do rehearsal, and then we also did a little dance number, which we had planned about a week before the wedding. I made him do dance classes.
Yeah.
That was a last minute decision.
Oh yeah.
And
then I just Amazoned this salsa dress, and I was like, whatever. I'm like, we're gonna do this. Bought the ballroom shoes, and so we were able to rehearse while everyone was enjoying cocktail hour. And I was like, all right, it's showtime, baby.
Are you like a dancer? Did you?
No, I'm not a dancer. Are you crazy?
How did you do this in 1 week? I would have been like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean,
it was work. We practiced a lot.
Worth it though.
It was worth it. So we're rehearsing everything, but man, when you walked in, I got to see the venue before, of course, everybody walked in, and it was like these spiral staircases and the ice sculpture, and everything was just what I had imagined. And I was like, see, I told you. Like, look how cool this looks. And the chandeliers we got. And imagine like Persia, like iced over. And it was like Winter Wonderland in Persia. It was kind of like the influence. Yeah. It was cool.
Had you seen like design elements or inspiration boards before getting there? Like, did you have an idea of kind of like what to expect walking into that hall?
Yeah. I mean, I'd seen all the things that we were ordering as far as, the decor.
Nice.
And then the charges.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I definitely saw the charges.
And then, they had the kind of the arrangement, we went over at the Tobin as far as the table arrangement and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's certainly, when you walk in, it's a huge venue hall, and it just feels like,
they completely transform it.
Oh,
it was awesome.
And the lighting too was just really, really nice,
Was there anything in that wedding that was specifically like, you were like, I have to do this, I really want to have this, like a flavor of cake or a drink or
Probably the
something.
bar. Yeah, we were really adamant on having open bar.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was like
Can't have a party without an open bar.
Well, I mean, I think what was really nice is was we were gonna have we were gonna do Persian food, and we were kind of unsure if the chef could make it properly, because if you get it wrong, your whole family's gonna be disappointed.
Like, this
so
is not authentic.
yeah,
I know.
But the Tobin, they actually did they had us, and they did like a 6-course like tasting.
Wow.
It was awesome.
And it was fantastic. I mean, they had open bottles of wine. They had just steaks and all sorts of things. And so we had a whole little private tasting before, and it was just, the food was phenomenal, and I did not expect that at all. And it was great.
It's crazy because when you go to a wedding and they serve, it's hard to serve that amount of food and it be good. I mean, the tastings can always be great, but it's just hard to cook for that many people and it's keep it,
everything
consistent.
hot and fresh, and yes.
But one thing we got a lot of compliments on our wedding, but the one thing people were talking about too was the food. They're like, your food was so great.
So what did you guys
nice.
serve?
We had steak.
We had like a steak and seafood.
Scallops.
Yeah,
Like a
exactly.
turf and surf
exactly.
kinda.
And then they asked us what we wanted, and I said, can I have a lobster tail?
Yeah.
They brought me a big plate with a lobster tail, and I was just like in my dress, like, yes, this
Yeah.
is so great.
Yeah. So we had something. I think we had something for everyone, with the fillet and the scallops, and so I think that we went with a very good choice on that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what were some of your, like, looking back on it, favorite moments? Like, if I could just live in those 5 moments again, like, what were those moments throughout the wedding?
Probably when we were introduced.
Oh, I know that was my favorite, for sure. I mean, when we came up from the stage,
Like, spotlight on you.
That was
exactly,
cool.
and
That
then
was really cool.
You kind of
No one knew where we were coming
exactly.
from.
And you come up and and then you just see the huge concert.
Yeah, like
venue.
smoke machines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So where did your bridal party enter from?
They entered
there.
from the spiral staircase.
Okay.
Yeah. So they entered on the opposite side.
So they were totally expecting you guys probably to do the same thing.
I think I
Yeah,
might
I
have
think so.
told one of the girls, which they might not have remembered, how we were getting. No one really knew.
Yeah.
They just knew that they were on the opposite side. No one really knew when we were coming out. So it was just whole, like, I had a lot of people tell me, like, we didn't know what was going to happen next at your wedding. It was just one thing after another. There was never a dull moment. And then all of a sudden y'all levitate from the ground and there's smoke everywhere. We're like, oh, there they are. Like,
I love it. You guys were not going to let them forget where they were.
no, it's like, babe, if
never,
we're going to do this, we need to go big or go home.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that's...
Yeah.
We definitely did.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have your wedding. You also then have your honeymoon about a week later. Where did you guys go for that?
Yeah, so we kind of thought, well, do we want to leave like right afterwards? But we want to go to the Maldives, and
Nice.
neither one of us had been that far traveling, and it just looks so magnificent in pictures, and so but it's also extremely far.
Yeah.
As far as travel time, so
Yeah, it was like 18 hours or...
20.
It's about 24, 26.
26
Yeah.
hours.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we did take like a little week off,
Yeah.
and then we ended up leaving. But yeah, it was.
It was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even the flight was fun.
Oh yeah.
It was long, but you're just ordering all kinds of food and you're drinking and you're, you're
Like,
just,
I'm on my honeymoon.
you're in this
Yeah.
your wedding high,
Yeah.
and you're just, what's the rush of getting there? Let's enjoy every moment,
Aw.
We stopped in, where did we stop?
In Qatar.
Qatar, which the airport was incredible. It's just the culture is so beautiful.
Yeah. Right.
So it was, I didn't mind the 26 hours. I mean, you sleep through most of it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean.
we got there and
You were with each other.
Right.
yeah, we got there and it was like they started serenading us and we were ready to go. We're like, all right, let's get at the beach. Like, let's go snorkeling.
Give me a
Yeah.
pina colada.
Right.
Yeah, we had we flew the Qatar Airways with the little Q pods, which is like the business class. Of course, we had to splurge to get the business class. But
Yeah.
it was. I mean, I'm sitting right next to her, and we kind of have our own little like cabin,
Room.
basically. It's,
Nice.
it's very cool. So
Nice.
yeah.
And obviously you came back with a surprise from that honeymoon.
We did. It was
Yes.
kind of a hopeful plan we had. I said, hey, wouldn't it be great
Yeah.
if we got pregnant on the honeymoon
I
in the
love that.
Maldives? But sometimes your plans don't always work.
Right.
So I came back, and of course we were jet lagged for 2 weeks. I mean, the time difference was horrible. It was very hard to recover from. So once we recovered and got back to our normal sleep pattern, I said, you know what? I need to get to the gym after being in the Maldives this
right.
long.
Yeah.
And then just something hit me, and like one day I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
No wonder those couple pounds aren't falling off. So, our prayers came to fruition, and we made a little bean over there.
Yeah,
That's
so
amazing. And what's your due date?
October 30th.
Wow, congratulations, guys.
Yes.
Bridal Buzz baby.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
for sure.
I know.
Exactly.
They're like, how was your honeymoon? And I just point to my belly.
Yeah, you're
They're
like,
like, well,
successful.
it was great.
This is very successful.
And what words of advice would you guys have for couples maybe planning a proposal, recently engaged, planning a wedding? What would you leave with them?
Just don't over stress about certain things. I mean, and it all may look chaotic even up into the day of the wedding, but honestly, as many moving parts as we had, everything just flowed so nice, and it was so smooth, and I couldn't ask for a better planning team, and then the venue and everything. But yeah, I think you definitely need somebody to planning yourself is going to be very difficult. You need somebody like a team of people, and we had a great one, so and that's definitely a must.
I agree with him. You can have it just as OCD as I am. I want everything like by the book, and this is what's going to happen. And of course, my wedding planner was the same way. I mean, at one point during our reception, we were an hour late. We were an hour behind of entertainment, our dance, this, that, and we somehow picked it up.
Wow.
And so everything might not go as planned, but nobody's going to know.
Yeah, no.
It's all going to work out.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to get upset. And, something could fall off prior to the wedding. Something can fall off the day of. I had a small element in my wedding that didn't happen because of a COVID situation, which, you know what are you going to, you can't cry about, you just got to move on. The show must go on and everything's going to work out. And the key is to communicate with your partner.
Yeah.
I did a lot of the planning and the ideas, and I ran it by him. Sometimes he wouldn't remember what I even talked about. So I would get really frustrated with, babe, I talked to you about this.
Like, this is important.
Yeah.
But there's so much going on that you just have to keep reminding your spouse, hey, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do. Do you have any ideas? What do you think about this?
Yeah.
And just communication and just letting things happen on their own, because it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah,
There's going to be things that you're going to get annoyed with, and who cares? The day of, I don't think a bride ever really cares. It's the next day where I'm like, okay, this didn't. But what does it matter? Nobody knows.
People are still raving about the whole
exactly,
thing.
and everybody just thinks it went, absolutely perfect. So
I remember our salsa dance. We did it to Pitbull, and it's different rehearsing with, a pre-recorded song than with a live band.
Yes.
So right before they introduced us to do our dance, I was backstage and I grabbed one of the waitresses. I said, will you just follow my lead, just dance with me just so I can rehearse this? And so she's dancing with me, and all of a sudden they just start the song, and we're on the opposite sides of the stage, and I'm like running out. We missed our cue. And I just, like, from all of our dance and what we planned, we had to improvise everything. And he's like, how many times am I going to spin you? I was like, I don't know until I get dizzy. I don't know. Until people just come on the dance floor.
Like, where'd these come from?
Like, I don't know what we're doing. So our coordinated routine was made up and was spontaneous.
I got thrown out the window. But,
the whole routine, we're going to have to do it one day. But to actually prove to people we can do coordination.
But no, I mean, it's just.
And our dance instructor was there too, and she was like, "You know what? You were fine.
Yeah,
you just played it off.
Yeah,
nobody knew.
Nobody knew.
You just gotta go with the flow.
Exactly. You're the only one
Exactly.
who knows.
It was really cute though.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. Something it's gonna happen, and you just gotta just go with the flow enjoy your wedding. And I think one thing I'd like to add is try not to drink too much until your reception.
Yeah.
Because you can miss out on so many elements, and we didn't have our first drink until after that salsa dance. Wow. Then we were downing them for sure. We got it. We took advantage of the bar. Yeah, but enjoy it, and you're gonna take so many pictures, and you're gonna see so many different people, and you don't want to be feeling not so great.
Yeah.
Really early on in the night.
Out of it.
Yeah. So and make sure your bridesmaids don't drink.
Yeah, that's a very good.
I had one crazy one that was probably drunk the whole time, and I was like, oh boy.
We love her.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what, YOLO, live your best life. But I'm like, just please stand up at the church. Like,
do not fall over and do not break anything.
Right. But you're always gonna have the wild card, which it's fine. It's all part having a wedding.
Yeah, and that's why we get good planners that help us stand peaceful.
Yep, for sure.
Well, thanks again, guys, for coming in.
Yeah.
And congratulations
Oh,
Thank
for
you.
thank you so
everything. Bridal Babes, if you want to see more of their pictures, read this story just text-wise, you can go check out their blog on sanantonioweddings.com, Alexandra and Alexander. And don't forget, the buzz doesn't have to stop here. We're everywhere online. You can find us on your favorite social media platforms and get all the best wedding inspiration all the time. And there's new Bridal Buzz episodes every week. So, quick shout out to today's sponsor, Texas Wedding Ministers, and we'll see you next time, Bridal Babes. Let's wave to this camera and say bye.
Bye.
Bye.